Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to go over something today that I feel like I get constantly asked from either sellers on their home or even from agents as we're trying to join our team and build our team. There's a big difference between cost and value. So I think a lot of times people are really easy to get tied up in what the cost is. Well, there's a different type of person that's looking to buy a Kia or a different type of person that's looking to buy a Mercedes. So we all kind of know there's a perceived value that Mercedes has got more features, is going to last longer, is more durable, the engine is stronger, faster, whatever, versus someone looking for a Kia, they might be looking more for kind of the cost aspect is more important to them than really the values that it offers. So I think that's a pretty understood concept that some people are going to be paying more for something because they know that it has more value. So a lot of times we'll go to, let's say, a listing presentation. Somebody wants to sell their house and they're only looking at cost. So the two questions they ask, what is my home worth? Second question is going to be, what's your commission? So let's say the commission, your home is worth $300,000 and we're trying to get a 6% commission, just as an example. So we're trying to get the 6% commission. Well, what's really important is not the cost, because of course there's other agencies out there that are willing to do it for less, 5%, or even the flat fee companies. I'll put on the MLS for $300. So it's kind of like the race to the bottom on this side of what we're willing to accept for commission. So if we take less, a lot of the customers will get kind of stuck on, okay, what's the cost, what's the cost, what's the cost? But what they should be really focused on is this side. What's the value? So what are they gonna do for this amount? What is the agent that's gonna charge you $300 or the company that's gonna charge you $300 to just throw your listing on the MLS? What's the value there? They spend 30 minutes just adding your account to the MLS. There's not a lot of value there. I actually think $300 is probably too much money because they're charging $300 for 30 minutes worth of work. So I think that's actually, a lot of times I'll tell people I think they're overpaying for that service, because it's, what are they getting for that? So all they're getting is some pictures taken and someone inputting it into the MLS, and that's all they're getting for their 300 bucks. So if you add more value, someone that's doing 5%, an agent that says, oh, I'll do it for less money, I'll do it for 5%. What are they doing for that 5%? A lot of times we'll find out those listing agents are doing the exact same thing as the $300 people. They're taking some photos, they're putting it on the MLS and forgetting about it. Again, now they're charging 5% for 30 minutes worth of work. So they're also overpaying again for that service. What if an agent comes in and says, I'm gonna get your house sold for more money in less time and less amount of hassle, but I charge more. I actually charge 7% is my commission, but I offer more value. So yes, I will still put it on the MLS, but prior to that, I'm gonna market it myself. So what if I'm actually gonna come in, I have a database of buyers already that I'm gonna introduce your home to. I'm gonna start doing coming soon marketing so that you can actually have your house displayed to a highly qualified group of buyers before it comes onto the MLS. Not only am I gonna do our own advertising to a qualified database of buyers, we call that our buyers in waiting program. So we've already been pre-qualifying and nurturing these buyers for the last 3, 5, 7 years that they've been in our database, because we have a lender partner that's getting them ready. Maybe their credit needed some work. Maybe they had a home to sell first before they can buy. So we've actually been nurturing these buyers and working with them over the last few years that might be a perfect fit for the home that we're looking to put on the market. Let's say we have a professional stager, which we do, that's gonna come in. Obviously that's not free. The person's gonna come in and look at the home. They're not just gonna take, exactly what it looks like now. Our job is to sell a product. So we want a professional to come in, get the house properly staged. So that includes certain lighting, certain pillows can add an accent to the room, certain colors that can be incorporated. All those things are gonna really drive that demand for the home if they feel like it's something unique. Nobody wants a product that everyone has. So we wanna make sure all of our properties are really standing out to get more buyers in, because of course the more demand we have, the more we can ask for the price as well. So let's say that we have the photos, just the photos itself make a huge difference. So the agents that are at the race to the bottom to take less money and have less costs, are they also reinvesting into that home to get it sold? How invested are they in really getting the property sold? Or are they just throwing it on the MLS and waiting for another agent to come in with a buyer? A lot of times it's really different. So having professional photography online is also going to be super, super important because that's what everyone's going to see. 98% of buyers are looking online. So those photos today are really, really valuable and important. Plus video. Video is really, really important. So there's all kinds of tools and resources that we can offer to make our value higher so that the 7% isn't an issue because we're doing more. So if we're doing less, then we want to take less money. If we do more, then we have more value, we can actually charge more money. So photos are huge. So this is going to be an investment that an agent's going to make as well, getting the house sold. They can also do all kinds of social media marketing. So as you know, it really takes a following. It takes the know-how to really aggressively market on social media and effectively market. So if we have a social media presence, we already have tons and tons of followers, or we're willing to put our money on the line to run ads and really get the most exposure that we can online through YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and all these different resources, obviously there's going to be a lot of value to that. You're going to have more eyes looking at the property, therefore more demand, and we can get a higher price for the home. So if we aren't offering a lot of value and then we're just charging, for that same house that's $300,000, maybe that person ends up getting $280 for the home, but they only charge them 5% commission. Their net number is really what's most important to them. What number do they end up with at the end of the sale? So if we're able to get them more money, even though we charge more money, let's say we get them over their asking price because now we're doing more services for them, we're getting more eyes on their property, we're making it stand out more than somebody else's, then it really comes down to the net number, not the commission. So don't let the kind of customer get too stuck up on what you're charging because it's not really that, it's what's your value, what are you adding? So for example, another program that we offer in our company, we do a lot of guarantees. So not only will we put their house on the market and, like most agents just throw it on the MLS and hope and pray that it sells, we have such a very strategic marketing plan to make sure we're getting the most demand for the home. We also are willing to guarantee it. So if their home doesn't sell, we guarantee that we'll buy it. So there's a huge value to that. It's almost like a insurance plan. It's to let them, feel comfortable. As soon as they list their home with us, we guarantee that it's going to sell. So there's all kinds of other value services that you can add on. Of course, it's going to be within your own brokerage and the things that they offer. But don't get stuck on the cost of things. Really want to add more value. So the same thing goes with realtors. So I think everyone kind of has a good understanding of that. So let's say cost and value with agencies. So as realtors, we're very commission focused. Of course, we are salespeople. We're 100% paid on commission. So it's a big deal for us. Sometimes they get stuck on the split. So I'll hear this all the time. So all different offices obviously have different fees. They say, oh, you can keep 100% of your commission, which not everyone qualifies for this plan. There's other, fine print kind of along with that as well. So there might be monthly fees or desk fees or other charges. You have to use their title company. Usually they're making money in some way, obviously. But there's some 90-10 splits or 80-20 splits, 70-30. So different offices have different, obviously, services that they offer and different commission structures that they offer. So too often I hear that people will get stuck on this number. Well, for that 100% model, guess what? Now that person cannot afford to offer you any support. They cannot offer you any marketing. They really can't give you any of their time. Every time the broker is sitting down with you to help you with something, they're spending time, they're not going to be able to offer that because they are not making any commission on you. So you have to remember that even though the cost, of course, the cost is important, you have to know what you're giving up from that. So for time. So let's say, for example, you're at 100% model. You're not really getting any services, desk space, all that kind of stuff. Things that are going to help you leverage your time a little bit better. Because what is the most valuable resource that we have? I think we all know that's our time. So if you're having to do all of these things, you're basically running your own business model. You might as well open your own brokerage. Why don't you just go be a broker? Because you're at 100% model and you have to do everything yourself. So as a broker comes different services with that. Everyone has their own agenda, their own aspirations. What do they want to do? If you want to be a broker and keep 100% of your money, just know that means you're still going to be reinvesting all the dollars that you make. So if you made $5,000 on a sale, that's awesome, and you get to keep 100% of it. Also know you're going to have to reinvest probably 20% as a minimum back into marketing. Because now you've closed this one contract, how do you close your next one? How do you get to the next sale? You're gonna have to put money into marketing, which is fine. You most likely should start having some sort of transaction coordinator or administrator person that can help you with the paperwork side of things that kind of slow down your sales. So let's just suggest, I don't know what you'll pay them, but maybe you can get someone part-time. So maybe you're paying them a couple $100 a week, but let's say 5 to 10% into your own admin support. Then everyone's a little bit more productive when you're working in an office space. I know we all have the ability to work from home, but I know me myself, if I'm at home, I might put in a solid 2 hours out of an 8-hour workday because I have so many distractions. I have the dog, I have the kids, I start doing laundry before I know it, I'm cleaning the house and I'm go grocery shopping. So for me, it's really important that I have my desk. I have my door, I have my office, I have all my stuff I need, all my files are right there. So let's say that you do maybe one of those shared office spaces. I'm trying to make this as least expensive as possible. So maybe 5 to 10% is now going to go to having a designated work area, shared office space. So now you're putting all that stuff together. And so for example, as you're doing all this, now let's say that you're starting to ramp up. Now maybe you're selling 2 contracts a month, something like that. Your company's starting to do a little bit better because you're putting these things in place. Now maybe you're up to 4 contracts a month. So now you're doubling all your money here, but just don't forget that you're having to reinvest it back into your business, which is good. This is what you should be doing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this. So let's just say, now you're putting an additional 40% of the money that you're making back into running your business, because we're very transaction based. You can't just make money one time and then retire. We have to keep having those kind of things flowing in. So let's say you're growing your business, but just remember, you're still having to reinvest in your business. So even though it feels like it's 100%, it just means that you're not getting this help from someone else. You're having to do it yourself. So you're basically your own broker. So it kind of depends what your aspirations are. If that was your goal, you want to run your own show and have no one to answer to, be your own broker, no problem. But just know that your time is also going to be absorbed, where I think the most that I've seen anyone be able to do this is about 4 contracts a month as a top producing agent, but just know that that's kind of the max that you can do. So let's just suggest for a moment that a brokerage is able to share resources. So versus you having to pay all your resources yourself, let's say they have a team of 10 agents on a team that they're able to offer all these things to. Now you're not having to pay so much for that support, because maybe the employee costs 10% of the sales. So we'll say they're an hourly employee. The minimum probably you can pay someone might be $30,000 to $40,000 a year, maybe. But instead of you hiring this person, you have a team of 10 agents that are all pooling their resources to just pay 1/10 of this fee. And then the same thing with the marketing. So if you're running a marketing ad for 10 people making sales, obviously we're going to get more marketing pull that way. So maybe we're investing $5,000 a month, all the way up to $50,000 a month in marketing, and you're going to share 1/10 of that expense. And then your time, instead of you going out and having to train a transaction coordinator and having to hire, train, if there's issues you have to fire, you're not having to figure out marketing because you have to go to marketing courses. Obviously things change every single week. We go to about 4 or 5 seminars a year. Marketing is changing constantly. You have to keep up to date with this on your own. And then your office space, you have to make sure you have to get furniture, you have to pay the electric bill, you got to pay all these extra things. So you can either have to run your own business, or when you join a team, your time is only spent on the money making activities that you make. So the goal is, we want you to close more houses. So if you actually had all of this taken care of by somebody else, now all of a sudden, let's say that you're able to close 10 contracts a month because you have help and support in marketing, and you're basically going to spend all of your efforts and time on money-making activities. That's meeting customers, writing offers, getting contracts to close. That's really your job. So if you're only focused on the 3 things that you probably enjoy doing the most, and you're able to close 4 contracts a month because your time's spent more effectively, what matters is that net number. Again, at the end of the year, what's on your 1099? How much money do you make? So do you really get stuck onto the splits, or what is the value that they're offering? So make sure you're interviewing brokerages. Say, what do you offer me? Even if it is 100% or a 90-10 or 80-20, what is the offer that you're making for me, so that you can figure out how is your time best spent? So let's say if you're kind of doing all this your own, you're your own broker, but you keep 100% of your money, which makes you feel good, even though technically you're putting 40% of that back into the business. So you're technically on a 60-40 split on your own, plus the most that you can do is 4 contracts. So let's say that at that 4 contracts, maybe you're doing $20,000 a month net, but you're reinvesting 40% back into the business to get the next sale. Or let's say, even if you're on, let's say for example, a 50-50 split, because it makes the math pretty easy, and you're at a 50-50 split over here, but the brokerage team is offering all the support and services to you, so that 5,000, maybe you're making 2,500, but now you can actually close more deals because you're not having to be everything to everyone. You can actually just focus on the things that you enjoy doing. Now you're at 25,000 a month. So automatically you're going to be making more money, but you're still paying 50-50 because you're able to close more deals, versus here you're at 20,000 divided by the 40% you're putting back in. What's your net number here? Have to do that math. So let's say that's what 12,000 here is going to be your net number. So you're going to make twice as much money, even though you're on a 50-50 split, because your time's more effectively and you're going to sell more houses. So always look at the two main things here. It's not always cost. A lot of times it's value and what you're getting out of it. Now, if your broker's not doing anything for you and they're charging you a lot of money, well, obviously that doesn't make sense. But if the value's there and they are offering you more so you can sell more houses, well, then obviously that's going to be the best use of your time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got tons and tons of value from that. So we're creating new videos every single day with real estate information and really relevant content that we know is going to help you in your real estate business. So please make sure to subscribe below and also click the bell button so that you're notified every single time that we have a new video that we share. Thanks, guys.